In order for the Bengals to make the playoffs, they need a win, a Broncos loss, and the Dolphins to lose or tie to get that 7th spot. The Steelers have clinched a playoff berth, but they are fighting for seeding anywhere from 3 to 6. Now, they can win the AFC North with a win and a Ravens loss, or they could fall down to that 6th seed if they lose and the Chargers win. That 6th seed would mean traveling to Baltimore for that first playoff game. So much at stake. The Steelers offense, Mina, they've only totaled 40 points in that brutal stretch, 3 losses in 11 days. What do you need to see from them tomorrow to know they're back on track for the postseason?
You guys know the concept of like a mouthwash game, which is if you have the football equivalent of bad breath, you play certain defense and suddenly your breath just smells better. That is the opportunity at hand for this Pittsburgh offense going against Cincinnati because, oh my God, the last time these teams played, the Steelers offense looked completely different from what we've seen in recent weeks. One thing that jumped out to me is Russell Wilson has mostly profited off of explosives versus single high coverage. But against Cincinnati, he was unbelievable versus split safety statistically because they could not tackle. I mean, he was just checking down to his backs over and over and over. And Najee Harris and Jalen Warren had a combined 122 yards after the catch. Not 122 receiving yards, 122 receiving yards after the catch. They relentlessly went after those Bengals linebackers. I think that opportunity will be here again. So there's a real get-right opportunity for the Steelers offense.
Yeah, I'm with you, MK. I think slow and steady wins the race for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We obviously know you can't get in a damn shootout with Joe Burrow. Like, that is that you asking to get your ass kicked throughout the course of a game. But here's the thing that they can do. And I look back 2 weeks, I watched the Cincinnati defense. Ford from the Cleveland Browns averaged 8 yards a carry. In Denver and McLaughlin averaged 7 yards a carry. And let this two-headed monster between Najee and Jalen Warren possess you the football. And when you do have those shots for George Pickens, let it be based off the fact that you've gotten defenders to come up in the box and those opportunities present themselves when you are one-on-one. I think the run game, and RC has heard me talk about this all the time, nobody muddies a game up more than Mike Tomlin in these situations. And we always look up at halftime and be like, why in the hell is the score of the Pittsburgh Steelers and Bengals game 12-9? Why is it ending that in the first half? Because they know how to manage themselves. The only issue you run into is if Russ turns this ball over and give the Cincinnati Bengals that one extra possession to score a touchdown and take a two touchdown lead, or you get some of these drives and they stall and you end up kicking field goals. That's the only way to me that the Bengals can absolutely take control of this game. But if they can finish in the red area and play physical at the line of scrimmage, they can make this a slobber knocker, and that's their best path forward.
Well, I mean, Swagu, you brought this up at the start of your answer, and that was the other side of the ball, right? So you got T.J. Watt, the Steelers defense, facing Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, this explosive offense. So, RC, who do you give the advantage to when you look at that matchup?
I give the advantage to the Cincinnati Bengals every time they step on the field against anyone, but especially this Pittsburgh Steelers defense that has been reeling, and they are allergic to punting. And so you have to find ways to get to the quarterback. Go back to that first matchup. It was the T.J. Watt sack, forced fumble, a Nick Herbig sack, forced fumble that ended up in a scoop and score that really turned and sealed this game. If you give Joe Burrow the time to operate in the pocket, he will pick you apart. Think about what Jalen Hurts started 3 weeks ago coming off of the passing game for A.J. Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles, and then you move forward into Lamar Jackson, into Patrick Mahomes. If you could stop those passing attacks, you can really reel against the Cincinnati Bengals. And so I don't know if it's a mouthwash game for this defense, but I do believe if you don't get to Joe Burrow, it will be chronic halitosis for the Pittsburgh Steelers from here on out.
Bad breath, for those of you that don't know. RC, as we look at our game picks, I don't know if it's because you're down there in Louisiana, but you're going LSU over the Steelers, apparently. And Swagu, what's up with you, Swagu? What's your score? What's your score in this game? What do you mean if guys play? What is that?
I don't need no score, Anna.
What? Is this something new?
Don't know.
Scott?
12-9 Steelers.
If guys play.
He's
12-9.
saying it's going to be muddy and he don't know what's going to happen. But I promise you this, the team with the stripes on their helmet go score a touchdown. So if it's 12-9, then they got a touchdown in the safety.
All right. This is like taking picks to a whole new level.
Y'all leave me the hell alone on these picks.
Yeah, well, no, we're just starting. What does all this mean for Jamar Chase and fantasy this week? For that, we check out AI-generated fantasy insights from IBM Watson X, and Chase has a high projection of 22.7 fantasy points, a low of 20.7 fantasy points. His high projection fifth among wide receivers.
On ABC and ESPN, let's start with the Browns, who sit at 3-13. They're projected to pick third in the draft. With the loss, they can pick no later than fourth and could still pick first if the Titans and the Patriots win. Now, their opponent on Saturday, the Ravens, will clinch the North and the 3 seed in the AFC with the win. Baltimore can win the division in consecutive seasons for the third time in team history. In the late window, the Steelers, they need to win and see the Ravens lose to stay alive in the North. If Baltimore wins, a Pittsburgh win secures the 5 seed in a game with the Texans in the wild card round. And finally, the Bengals, they still have playoff hopes. If they beat the Steelers on Saturday, they'll need a Broncos loss and a Dolphins loss or tie in order to secure the 7 seed in the AFC. NFL analyst Herm Edwards and senior NFL writer Jeremy Fowler are here to break down the division. So the Steelers and the Ravens, they've trended in opposite directions for the last 3 weeks. Herm, I'm going to ask you this. What do you think is the biggest reason for the switch?
Well, I think right now the Steelers are struggling, especially on offense. They played Kansas City, only scored 10 points. Now they've lost 3 games in a row, all to playoff contenders. I understand that, to the Eagles, the Ravens, and Kansas City at home. But they're not scoring points. And Russell Wilson is under duress. The last game, he was sacked 5 times and hit another 8 times. So this offense is not producing enough points. And that's going to be the problem. Their defense is hanging in there, but when you don't score points, it makes it very difficult to win playoff games.
Yeah, it's kind of important for the quarterback and the offense to do, right? Things were going so well for Russell Wilson when he replaced Justin Fields.
And I think when you think about the Ravens, this team is hot. Mm-hmm. I mean, Lamar Jackson is the MVP candidate again. And what really is refreshing to see about the Ravens, not only Lamar Jackson playing well, and obviously Henry and Likely and Andrews, but their defense. The Ravens' defense all of a sudden looks like the Ravens' defense of old. I mean, they're starting to get after people. They're taking the ball away. You can't score points on these guys. So beware of the Ravens. They're getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, Coach just pointed out their defense, Jeremy. Yeah. They're figuring things out at the perfect time of the year. What is the biggest change that they've seen?
They are so excited in that building right now about Derrick Henry because they knew he was an all-pro, but now he's been operating and ripping through holes on those shotgun formation runs. That was a bit of a question when they signed him because he was always an I formation type running back in Tennessee. Now he is totally comfortable with any package they want to give him, and they feel like he's well rested. He's had enough of those games where he only got 15, 13, 17 carries, where now he has a full tank for the playoffs, which is exactly what they want, and then believe that that will be the difference. And I've also told Lamar Jackson has been more of a vocal leader this year than probably he ever has. He's more comfortable in his skin as a leader, where in the past I've heard he's been a little bit reluctant in that area, being too vocal because he wants to be a part of the team. He doesn't want to be bigger than the team. But now he realizes, look, he's a guy going on maybe 3 MVPs. Yeah. They're going to go as far as he goes. So he's making himself vocal, and that is really resonating with the team.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, they're figuring things out at the right time. Herm, let's talk about the Bengals. They're on the brink of going from 4-8 to a potential playoff berth. Just how dangerous can this Cincinnati team be?
You don't want to see the Cincinnati Bengals right now. They have the hottest offense in the league. Burrows has thrown, over 40 touchdown passes. When you think about Lamar Chase and obviously T. Higgins, 26 touchdowns between the both of these guys. So they're on a hot streak right now. They can score the ball. It's almost like they're playing 7-on-7 with all these defenses in the National Football League. Their problem is real simple. They got off to a bad start. They got off to a 1-4 start, and that could get them at the end. But
In 2 miles, take exit 29A to merge onto CA 71 south towards Corona.
On their offense, Chase Brown's ankle. What is the likelihood that we see him moving forward?
Yeah, this is a little bit touch and go because he was a DMP, did not practice all week in the 3 days. So that's usually an issue. They're going to give him today, see how he feels. It's not believed to be a serious enough of an ankle issue where he's totally ruled out. So they're going to list him as questionable, but it'd be a bit of an uphill battle for him to play. We'll see. But look, all stakes are high right now. Everybody's trying to get ready to play, including T. Higgins. Questionable again on his knee and ankle issues, but he played through it last week. No major setbacks this week, and he is rolling right now after multiple touchdowns last week, so he's hoping to keep that going.
Okay, Coach, we should also just address the elephant in the room. That is the Browns' future. What is your outlook on Deshaun Watson and Cleveland's quarterback situation?
Well, my question is always this when we talk about dismissing quarterbacks. Who are you going to get? Sam Darnold? Kirk Cousins? I think Deshaun Watson is their guy. I think you ride with him. Hopefully he's kind of figured his life out. He has talent. This team struggled in a lot of different ways, especially at the quarterback position. But he's your guy. You got to start off with him unless you go out and get somebody. And right now,
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 29A to merge onto CA 71 south towards Corona.
What do you think, Jeremy? What are you hearing about what's going on with Cleveland and their quarterback situation?
Yeah, Herm brings up some interesting points. So Deshaun Watson is still on the table for the Browns, and talking to team sources, they have not totally given up on him. They do believe, like physically, he can still get it done.